simulator is an electronic machine that enables the pilot to take off and land at any airport without actually leaving the ground. The pilot can, in theory and practice, convert to a Tristar without seeing the aircraft. Let us see what happens in the simulator. What training takes place over there? Tristar simulator. Let us see what actually happens here. Captain Mahmoud, what kind of training do you do here for the pilot in the simulator?
At the moment I'm conducting proficiency checks, and this is usually conducted every 6 months on all the Delta crew. It takes about 4 hours duration time. What we are looking for that the crew during these 4 hours, they demonstrate their ability to handle all sorts of failures and emergencies that the airline industry can think of. And their actions and reactions to failures are recorded. We've got some recording facilities. And based on their proficiencies, their license is signed on that basis. So you can say that each pilot are suspect to check every 6 months. And if they don't pass to a certain standard, then they have to be retrained and checked. This simulator, we can put a pilot anywhere in the world. Like I can put him in Bahrain or America, and the actual instrumentation will represent the particular airfield.
What emergency will we show now?
The emergency that we can show is engine failures, like the pilot can take off with 3 engines normally. He can lose an engine during takeoff, either failure or fire. Yes.
Are you ready for an emergency, captains?
Yeah.
You are? Okay.
Okay, at the moment you can see that the crew has got their takeoff clearances. They're rolling down the runway, and at some stage during the takeoff I'm going to give them a failure, and this failure will be an engine failure 100, and we'll see how the crew will react to it. They will have a failure now.
You have to see how I will react to it.
They will. They rotate. Engine fire. This is engine fire that we have.
Gear up.
And the aircraft is flew with 1 engine is on fire at the moment.
Restate emergency.
Okay, engine fire number 1. Number 1 is in fire.
Carry out engine fire drill number 1.
Okay, number 1 throttle. Number 1. The crew is carrying out an engine fire action number 1. Number 1. Number 1. Spin number 5. Okay, fire bottle. Take time.
Cancel the noise.
Okay, at this stage the crew has secured that engine fire action, and they have secured the fire on that engine. Fire is out. They can either continue a takeoff on 2 engines if it was a short route to a destination, or come back and land safely at the airport.
On what basis would they decide to come back or go on?
This depends on a lot of factors: the weather at the departure airfield, the weather at destination, the length of the flight, the maintenance facility. We have got a maintenance facility in Bahrain, and it's a long flight. They want to go to London, so they sort of, it's not feasible to continue on 2 engines to London,
Yes,
which is
I think
6
so.
hours.
Yes.
So we'll see what the captain
Okay,
says.
let us see.
I haven't said anything now,
Okay.
so let's see what he will say.
All right.
Golf Air 006, what is your intention?
Well, 006 would like to come back for a landing.
And the plane is ready for takeoff. To arrive and depart on time and safely is a mammoth round-the-clock operation. At the ATC, that's the air traffic control, teamwork, concentration and discipline is very much required. Unfortunately, today is not a very good day. It's rather windy and stormy, but nevertheless, let's go in at the ATC and see what really happens at the air traffic control. How are the planes controlled to take off and to land? Before the pilots proceed to the airplane, they go to operations where they collect all the paperwork and all information about the flight. For example, the load of the passengers and cargo to calculate the fuel and also weather information. This is what normally happens during normal briefing.
Abdullah, 006. How much fuel do we need for landing?
weight 15 tons.
And that's based on?
On zero wind.
Zero wind. Let's have a look here, see what the wind is. Yeah, that figures. And the weather en route is also okay. There's no reported turbulence or anything like that. So that's fine.
And
anything in the NOTAMs?
Nothing in NOTAMs. I've already checked it and Abu Dhabi clear. It's nothing should affect us.
What is this takeaway there? 160 tons?
160 tons, yeah.
160 tons. And their estimated zero fuel weight here is 136.
I'm here on a real flight, believe it or not, Bahrain, Abu Dhabi. While the passengers over there are enjoying the comfort and convenience of the flight, let us see what happens, what takes place in the cockpit. Captain Isa, what do you do during navigation? We hear that the programs, everything, the pilot is programmed, isn't it?
That is correct. The Tristar navigates on what is called inertia navigation system. We have 3 of these on board the Tristar. And what we do is put the initial fix of the airplane, the initial position of the airplane at the point of departure. We put the route in and the weight of the airplane plus some other data. And then when we get airborne, put the autopilot in and couple it to the what we call LNAV. And from there on, it just navigates itself from the point of departure to the destination. And the pilot's task really is to monitor it and see that it takes you there and it does what it's supposed to do.
How do you prevent collisions? Obviously, air route is as busy as any route, you know, ship routes and land routes. How do you prevent collisions from happening?
Well, in this day and age, we fly airways. So each airplane is designated its airway. On this particular route, we're going from Bahrain to Abu Dhabi. So we are on this route here. And also, we get picked up by radar, so we get monitored on the radar screen. Plus the fact that we got vertical separation, depending on the direction you're flying at, you get separation of 2,000 feet between the aircraft flying the same direction and 4,000 feet of aircraft flying opposite directions.
Are the chances of collision nil?
I would say in this day and age, yes, they are close to remote.
One thing I hate about flying, I'm sorry to tell you, is air turbulences. Why can't you prevent them? If everything is monitored and controlled here, why can't you prevent air turbulences and why do they happen?
Okay, generally the turbulence is associated with clouds, basically, and thunderstorms. But there is a phenomenon in meteorology called CAT, and that is clear air turbulence. That is very difficult to detect. We have a weather radar here, which can detect the cells of thunderstorms. Usually the turbulence is associated with thunderstorms. Unfortunately, you cannot detect the clear air turbulence on radar. It can be forecast on a mid folder that is given to the flight crew before they depart their point of departure, but some of the time you just go through it without even detecting it, and that is the unfortunate thing about it.
T200, 200.
Gulf Air 006, set up flight level 220. 1244, goodbye. Abu Dhabi, good afternoon. Gulf Air 6 is at 210 for 80. Continue descent flight level 50, 006.
How much more time do we have to reach Abu Dhabi, you think?
At the moment we are 100 miles away from Abu Dhabi, so I would say 20 minutes plus the approach.
Okay, will you please give us a good landing?
Yes, I
and
promise.
no turbulences?
What we're going to do is start the descent right now and get radar victors towards the easterly runway and carry out an automatic landing.
Okay, I'll go and sit down, put my seatbelt on.
Right up. 006 short finals, confirmed clear to land.
Confirm 006, you are clear to land.
That means a line armed. At 150 feet, it will change to a line, which means it will align itself for the runway, compensating for a crosswind. And this flare arm, at 50 feet, it will change to flare. It will start flaring itself. The nose of the airplane will go towards the 10-degree line, and it will land itself. Flare. There's the nose coming up, and there's a touchdown.
Okay, lift down.
Reverse. I do. The autopilot is still in.
Still in.
I have control.
You have control.
Autopilot coming out. And there's a turn off to the right here.
That was an excellent landing. Thank you, Captain. You've done an excellent job. What do you think?
Oh, it was a pleasure. It was a nice auto-land program by Tristar Abdullah here, and with the help of flight engineer Adil. Thank you both.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. I've enjoyed doing tonight's program tremendously. I've enjoyed this flight. I've enjoyed meeting all these people. And I hope you've enjoyed tonight's program too. I'll be back same time next week with another edition of Take Two. I'm Veena Ansari. Goodbye.
Daniel is driving tonight on a plane. I can see the red tail lights heading for Spain. Oh, and I can see Daniel waving goodbye. God, it looks like Daniel must be the clouds in my eyes. This is Spain is pretty, though I've never been. Daniel says it's the best places I've ever seen. Oh, and he should know he's been there enough. Lord, I miss Daniel. Oh, I miss him so much. Oh, Daniel, my brother, you are older than me. Do you still feel the pain?